Good morning, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for September 27th, 2014, Saturday morning around 6:23 in Billerica, Massachusetts. The sun's rising, going to be about 80 today. Nice Indian summer day, and we might reach the mid-80s tomorrow for another nice Indian summer day, but second half of next week we could get some much needed rain. Happy World Tourism Day and happy Independence Day in Mexico. A lot of sports news to cover before my first subject. The New York Yankees beat the Boston Red Sox by a score of 3-2 in a meaningless regular season game. Both teams aren't going to make the playoffs. And also the Washington Capitals beat the Boston Bruins by the score of 5-4 in overtime. People in Boston were mad because the NHL Network blacked out the Bruins game, even though the Bruins went on NESN. And also other baseball news, Kansas City Royals have clinched a playoff spot. First time they're going to make the playoffs since 1985. The Washington Nationals clinched the best record in the National League. So that means they have home field advantage throughout the National League playoffs. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim clinched the best record in the American League and the best record in all baseball. So they'll have home field advantage throughout the World Series. And also Bobby Abreu's going to outfield of the New York Mets is going to retire at the end of the year. He wants to be a coach and eventually a major league manager. And the Milwaukee Brewers announced that they're going to retire number 1 uniform in honor of their former owner Bud Selig and retiring major league commissioner next season. That's good for them. And now my first subject of the day is about superstar Billy Graham's www heel run as champion from April 30th, 1977 through February 20th, 1978. Superstar Billy Graham was one of the most famous heel wrestlers in the 1970s. He was a heel in several territories: AWA, Mid-Atlantic, Florida, and a few others. And he had a flamboyant style. He had the tie-dye t-shirts, the feather boa. He flexed his muscles and stuff like that. He was good on the mic. He talked like Muhammad Ali. He was a very, very good heel wrestler, and he was picked to be a transitional champion from Bruno Sammartino, who was the long-time wwf champion, and he was going to transition as a heel champion for 9 months until Bob Backlund in as champion. And Vince McMahon Sr. always booked like the New York territory, the WWF, as mainly a face long-term champions. Heels will only be able to have temporary reigns, no longer than maybe a few weeks or so, but superstar Billy Graham was going to have a reign of 9 months. And superstar Billy Graham beat Bruno Sammartino in Baltimore, Maryland in April 30th, 1977 with his foot on the ropes. And for the next 9 months, superstar Billy Graham was a heel champion. He was managed by the Grand Wizard of Wrestling, and he was getting cheered a lot by the fans. Even though he was a heel, superstar Billy Graham was getting cheered, and he had a lot of title defenses in Madison Square Garden. First title defense, he beat Gorilla Monsoon easily, and then he had some matches with Bruno Sammartino at the Garden. He had another match at the Madison Square Garden with Ivan Polish Power Putski. He won that. He also had a series of matches with the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, at Madison Square Garden. One of them, Dusty Rhodes, won by countout, and another one at Superstar 1. And then on television, on WWF Championship Wrestling, High Chief Pierre Maivia had, before a match, was playing the ukulele, and then superstar Billy Graham comes out and destroys the ukulele, and that sets up a feud for them at Madison Square Garden, which Superstar won. And in December of 1977 and January of 1978, superstar Billy Graham had 2 matches with the famous masked wrestler from Mexico, Mil Mascaras. And the second match, Mil Mascaras has Bob Backlund in his corner. I don't know why they had that, because it's just maybe for Graham not to like use illegal tactics and stuff. But all of these title defenses when Superstar Billy Graham was happening in the Madison Square Garden and Philadelphia and Boston, the fans were cheering him a lot, even though it was getting to be bigger and bigger. And even though he was a heel champion, a lot of fans respected Superstar Billy Graham. And Superstar Billy Graham told Vince McMahon Sr., the fans are cheering me so much, I want to let me turn face, let Ivan Koloff attack me on television, and I want my one-year championship as a face run. And they could wait until like 1979 or so to have Bob Backlund as your champion. Just put him in the bullpen. He's not ready yet, but Vince McMahon Sr. says, I'm committed to Bob Backlund on February 20th, 1978. I'm committed. I can't break promise on his word. Just give me a chance. And like a lot of people were like mad about that, even the wrestlers, even Bruno Sammartino. 2 nights before, in a cage match at Philadelphia between Superstar Billy Graham and Bruno Sammartino, there was talk that like they were gonna just like change the plans, have Bruno win it, but at the last minute Superstar won it, and he allegedly hurt his knee. And 2 nights later, when he wrestled at the Garden against Bob Backlund, he walking fakely with a limp, but you know he wasn't really hurt. And when he showed it to Gorilla Monsoon, I can't really wrestle that night. He told Bob Backlund as part of the storyline to focus on the knee, and then Bob Backlund beat Superstar Billy Graham for the WWF Championship at Madison Square Garden, February 20th, 1978. And Superstar had his bottom foot on the rope for 3 count, but the referee didn't see it, and that's kind of what happened. He won the belt with his foot on the ropes. He lost the belt with his foot on the ropes and stuff like that. And this really was devastating to Superstar Billy Graham, and very, disappointing, because I was very, very young, only 1 year old at the time, but I was reading in this book and on some videos, shoot interviews and stuff. Superstar Billy Graham should have turned face if this was like 10 years later, if Vince McMahon Jr. was running the WWE. Superstar Billy Graham would have eventually turned face still as a champion. I think Vince McMahon Sr. kind of made a mistake not turning Superstar Billy Graham face during his heel run as champion. He would have been a good face champion. He could have faced Ivan Koloff and in a series of like matches in the WWF in 1978, and he could have saved Bob Backlund's run as champion temporarily. But Vince McMahon was committed, and the WWF territory was the main world champ. The world champion was always a long-term face, and Vince McMahon Sr. did not want to break that thing. And then Superstar Billy Graham had rematches with Bob Backlund, and one of the things backstage before their match at Madison Square Garden, Bob Backlund has his like robe, and Vince McMahon Sr. doesn't see the belt. He says, Bobby, it's about the belt, but I like my robe. And Superstar Billy Graham saw that. He says, that was childish. And he says, all the years that Bob Backlund was champion, Superstar Billy Graham saw that Vince McMahon Sr. had to stack the cards in Madison Square Garden with major names like Andre the Giant and Jimmy Superfly Snuka and others, so it would be a sellout to protect Bob Backlund, because he said Bob Backlund was going to be a flop as a champion. 6 years, he wasn't really a flop, even though he was successful. Fans got bored of him after a while. And, you know, it was disappointing that superstar Billy Graham couldn't be the face champion of the WWE. He was ahead of his time, and you know, he also told Vince McMahon Sr. that they should have had merchandise of superstar Billy Graham being sold by the WWF, but Vince McMahon Sr. was not interested in merchandise or any likeness of putting his wrestlers on, because he didn't want like them to be too powerful like the wrestlers back then. I don't blame him. So it was a missed opportunity for superstar Billy Graham as a face champion, but his heel run was very successful. I think one of the greatest heel runs of a WWF champion until like the 1993 with Yokozuna being the heel champion. And I give this heel run of superstar Billy Graham one of the best reigns ever for the WWF. It should have lasted longer, and it should have been a face turn halfway through. Well, that's about it on that. I'll be back later for 2 more video blogs, which will be about why this 2014 Boston Red Sox season was a nightmare and it sucked. And also my 3rd and final video blog of the night will be about longtime game show host, telethon host, and pro wrestling and boxing announcer, the late Dennis James. Have a good day, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. See you tonight.